Hello everyone, welcome back. Thanks for stopping by. And let me welcome you. My name is David, and I'm going to take you back to the beginning and even like a little before of this journey that I've been having with all these plants. And it's back in Dallas. So you'll see that the first couple of shots are going to be from before anything really happened. I believe that the camera shot that I have from my Ring camera is from 2020, July of 2020, and you'll see that there's nothing there. We're going to see in a little bit with more detail. And then after that, we're going to have a serial of pan tours that I had in a really whisk matter of the front yard, the backyard, a couple of the plants inside. And we'll talk about what I went through basically with Dallas, and also the major reason that I moved here to San Diego. So without further ado, let's start. So here you see the front yard, and what you can see here, like right under me over here, is a plastic or fake Christmas tree on a ceramic pot that you're going to see that will have different plants coming through the next couple of years, talking about between 22 and 23. 24 is when I moved here, and now we're in 25. Also, we have here the porch swings in the front porch, and in the very corner, in the bottom left corner, you're going to see that there is a big pot that I still have. Have a mangave in there right now, or an agave actually right now. But right here, where you see this pond that you see there is also plastic. So let's move on. Like now, let's take a shot. Let's take a look of the backyard. This is also from the security camera. And as you see, like all the way to the fence behind me, there's the fence of the neighbors, and you can see that there's only grass and a little bit on the side. You can see a couple of yuccas that the only things that I planted at the beginning. I bought the house in August 2006, so I'm going to say that these plants I planted them in 2007. And there's a few yuccas that of course here in San Diego will do great. Now in Dallas, these are the most easygoing and low maintenance plants that you can have. You don't have to do anything in the winter, in the summer. Maybe just like gonna have some fungal issues at some point if it rains too much. And the flowers, when they flower once a year. They have a huge stock of beautiful flowers, like cream color. When that happens, it's better if you cut the flowers and put them in a vase inside. They will last a lot longer than if you leave them in the plant. The other couple of plants that I had also at the very beginning, they're in the front yard that you're about to see. There's a couple of junipers, and there's a couple of bushes that I planted in the very back corner in the backyard that now have become trees, and I cannot remember the names right now. But you're about to see that. So I'm gonna point a couple of things here. At this point already, I have removed a tree that I have on the other side over here, like to that side. There was like on the other side of the pathway, there was like a huge tree that was like already rotting, but that was removed before anything started. As you can see from the beginning here, is that there's like you can see a pole over there. That is where I tie one of the cell shades. I have to put like 2 cell shades here, because otherwise the sun will scorch anything that is on those flower beds. They are all the way in the front of the house. But in the very front of the yard, I have 2 other flower beds that I made. And at the beginning there was not much. It was the junipers that I mentioned, and there was a couple of like those baby yuccas, and I was trying for the first time to do it, like to sow some flowers or some other plants in there, but there was not much going on. This side of monkey grass that you see, these are the only ones that came with the house, and you'll see how much they grow. Like now on the center of the screen right now, you see these little trimmings that I made on the ground. That's where the heads of the sprinkler system are. I had to change them for like 4 inches to 12 inches because the monkey grass got so high that they were no longer watering the lawn, they were just watering the monkey grass. And I also put some path lights in there. I still have, but like they have decay, the material has decayed, so they're no longer usable. Here you can see this is one of the bushes that also the house had when I bought it. And what I've done here is I've expanded the front and mulched it, so it was easier to clean when I had to hedge it. And there's also this one in the very back. There was like all the hedges that you see here, they came with the house. Now this flower bed I made it myself, and I learned very fast what I was doing wrong. At the beginning I thought that the soil was ready to put plants in it. I was very wrong. The soil is very clayey, it's very thick, and the compression and expansion that does through not only heat, but like when it rains and when it gets dry, it will like squeeze and like push out the little plugs that I will put in it. Like I don't understand like why was the ground like spitting out the plants that I was putting in, so like nothing was really growing, like they were all dying. So then I learned of doing some tilting and amend the soil and put a lot of compost in order for anything to grow. So one thing to point on this screen right here is right at the bottom of the bed. You're gonna see these silver little bushes that are dusty millers. I still have a couple of cuttings of that you can see in the tour 2025 of this year. Violas and Gerberia species. And if you pay attention to the corner of this wall, of the inside of the wall here, you're gonna see like little seedlings that I have planted there, which these are zinnias and a couple of cosmos that I put there. Actually, like the cosmos are not here, the cosmos were on the very front. These are only zinnias that I put over here. I made the mistake of like not putting any support system because they get quite tall. They got to like 4 feet tall at least. And another thing that I want to talk about right here in this area is these ornamental kales that you see. Those are the seedlings that I was talking about. There's Gerberia daisies, a couple of crotons, and now in the back you can see that there is a ornamental kale. Let me save you the trouble. Don't do that. I mean, this is what happened to me. There was these like butterflies, they're white wings with a black dot in the middle of the wing. They're not butterflies, they're moths. They're caterpillar moths. And they will put eggs like there's no tomorrow. When those eggs hatch, those caterpillars will go through that whole plant in one night. And guess what? What is coming after that is the rest of your garden. So don't do it. And they're really hard to kill too. Like I injured myself trying to kill, and not the caterpillars, but the moths. Here you can see that this hedge that will be later removed, but I have added these planks on the windowsills to support these arrangements that I've made for cacti and succulents. This is my motto. This is the way that I do plants, and like that's the reason of the channel being named Contain Growing. At the beginning, I was trying to grow things like on the ground, but it's very limited when you're like in any given area to have a great variety because because of the weather and stuff. But like, so having things in pots here in San Diego, because I rent over there because of the weather, the difference is that like here I don't have to do this whole movement of bringing them in and taking them out all the time. In Dallas that happens a lot because wind, because hail, because the winter the temperatures get extremely low, and in the summer get extremely high. And you can see a little bit of the plants that are like now inside the house, but let's move around. This area was also started working a little tilling in there, but I still was putting things in pots and in containers. And now you can see the full pot where the Christmas tree was, which is that lime green one. And I put just a variety of succulents and cacti there. Here I put a couple of hostas, and this area that is more shaded, but it still was not, they didn't do really well because there's so much clay on the ground. and I have not added enough compost in for them to thrive. Moving to the corner, I have Coleus. Coleus come in so many colors, and the shapes is about the same, but they come in so many colors. And like, I'm gonna give you one tip right here, right now. That is, they head the flowers. Don't let the flowers turn to seed, because then the plant will die. It's kind of like agaves and onions. When they flower, they will die. But if you pinch the flower, it will continue growing without a problem. Not the same thing that you have with onions and agaves. If you pinch the flower, like, the plant will still die anyway. Here you can see the corner one that had a plastic plant that has like that plastic palm. Now it has a philodendron, rubescence red. And now we're moving. This is the spring of 2022. You can see how, like, even the junipers have grown a little more. I have a couple of flowers that are growing also from seed there. There's zinnias, and on this other side a couple of zinnias there as well. And this there have more fraily type of leaves are cosmos. Cosmos are also plants that can like they grow like super tall, and they need to have support in there, otherwise they will flop. They will die. Notice the base of the tree right here, because like there's gonna be a change coming up later on in the video. Also notice like the monkey grass start getting like a little taller. You can see here the cell shades being deployed on top of the fluids. Now here you can see as well the dusty millers, how they grow just from, let's say, like I planted those in the beginning of the first part of the video was from around March or April, and this is around June, so there's significant growth. The ones that are like right here, like in the bottom, these are bubbleweeds, so they do very well, but unfortunately they will not survive the winter, which is a problem. Now the problem that I'm addressing right here, right now, is because why those cell shades on top of the flower beds? Because if I put a cactus right here, that is like baby cactus, not a major tree, but like something that is small, that doesn't have any shade, in the summer months during July and August, they will get scorched. Cacti will get scorched. Of course, succulents, anything else, like there's nothing that will survive that heat. The only things that will survive this heat well are zinnias, cannas, sunflowers. The problem with sunflowers is pests, but sunflowers will tolerate that heat. You'll have to continue to keep the ground moist, because otherwise nothing will survive if there's a drought and the heat. But if you notice also on this bed, like you start seeing right here, the zinnias, there's only one flowering. There's that kale that is still there. This is when the moths start to show up and putting necks in there. But if you notice that this flower bed, it only reached to the bottom or to the beginning of this hedge that I had right here. There's a pen also of the growth that was happening with the succulents and the cacti. And on this side, like there was something that was munching on the plants. I didn't know what it was, so I put this cover around the plants, and I never figured out what it was, but it did stop eventually. Here I can see the more close-up of the cacti and the succulents. This is a normal day in Dallas, and look at the wind, how much the wind is pushing. And that's the problem that you have there. If there's not wind, it's heat. There's also like storms that will have like really crazy hail, and there's no warning. The same thing happens when it comes to like cold fronts, heat waves. They come so fast, like without forecast, that you probably have like an hour to get things placed. That's the reason that I start moving so much from in the ground. Even that in the ground were easier, because with like a sprinkler system, they will get water and they'll have the ground, like you don't run the problem of rotting or anything, but the weather was a problem. So these plants, after all the work we put on the plants, we like to keep them for a little longer or protect them. If you see right here, I have a mix of Coleus with oxalis and Phytonias, and they do great. But then like a storm will come that will like blow the whole plant away from the basically like it will rip it apart. It will do hail that it will damage the whole plant, or even worse, a cold front that will freeze it up, or a heat wave that will scorch it up. And that's the problem that I have with the weather in Dallas. So, and with the amount of plants that you'll see, like you'll get to see more when we move to the backyard. Moving these plants inside for the weather, and then moving them back outside every single trip was 3 hours to do any movement. So, and I will run out of space as well, especially in the winter and the summer. Like I have no more room where I could hold things. And would this go like non-stop for example, last winter that I was there in 2023, I had about a week and a half of temperatures below 20. They were fluctuating from like 9 degrees to like 17 degrees, and that was for like about a week of that temperature, and the wind chill was even like 2 degrees, so it was nothing will survive in that. And on top of that, it's like super windy, so it's not just that it's just cold and it's type of frozen, it's a wind, so it's a constantly beating on the plants. This plant right here that you have on the screen is a black knight grass, and I absolutely love this plant. This is half the size that it's gonna get in the following summer. You're gonna take a peek of what the plant does in the next spring, that it has lose all the foliage. And the reason they lose all the foliage is because I cut it. What you do with this plant is when it gets a spring that is about to like come back out all the way from the ground, you just chop it all out and let it grow. Same thing with the other grasses, but none of the grasses did as good as that one. I recommend highly that one for Texas. And Dallas especially. Now, this row of plants that you see here by the fence are all sunflowers, like big dial sunflowers. And if you pay attention a little bit, you're gonna see that they're gonna start like going down on size, and that's because of the shade that a tree on the other side of the alley was providing. And a couple of the first 3 or 4 got to bloom, and they got to bloom actually like over the fence, and that was like over 10 feet tall. So they did great, but like I have to continually stack them and check them not only for pests, but like whenever it was windy, it was damage them. So they were a lot of work. Now this is on the other side of the fence. This is the backyard, and I was still working here. I have made like a whole set of different flower beds around the perimeter of the fence, especially because I wanted to put some mint and peppermint and spearmint to repel insects and rodents. There's problem with like some rodents like that you can get there, but mint, peppermint and spearmint will definitely repel rodents. So just a little thing to know. Now what I want to talk about this corner flower bed is the world of a difference that it made between this and the rest of the plants, either pots or on the ground, that I had in my house. Because I fill up that flower bed with the compost that I was making like throughout the few months that I was doing, and the growth was exponentially up across the board in that corner, and I was not understanding why they were so big. For example, there were I had these evening primroses, which only like bloom, like open up, the flowers they open up in the evening. They will be like the other ones, they were all from seed, and the ones that I got around the yard, the front yard and the backyard, they were like like 2 feet tall, about the bush, and have like a couple of flowers. The one back here was almost 5 feet tall, and it was full of flowers. I'm gonna try to like add a couple of pictures in here in the rollout. But just so you see, like the composting your own stuff, it's really worth it. If you can compost, just go ahead and do that. Now here in the middle of this flower bed, you can see some cosmos and zinnias, and you can see how tall they get. I have not yet stacked them. I have run all the irrigation system, like they were coming all the way from around the house. This was all DIY. These are the trees that I was talking about, and that I planted back in 2007. And they were like little bushes, and now they're very huge trees. Are 12 feet tall. I had a couple of gales here. Happened the same thing with the caterpillars that like came in, like they hatched and they ate the plants. I was still working over here in this area to like make a bridge that was going in front of. This bridge was gonna be in front of the shed that I have there. That particular honeysuckle was a shame because this honeysuckle ended up blooming in 2023 in December, and in January a cold front came in, and even though I have a cover, it killed it. These are the ones that I will be planting outside, like on the side of the house later on, because they do better on the ground than in a pot. This is the honeysuckle that I was talking about, and you can see the arrangements that I do with the plants. I like to get a planter and put like different plants. Same thing with succulents and cacti. I have here a few the echeverias. I did the putting one per pot just to have like a different display on one side of the garden. But in general, I like to mix them up, especially to like make distinctions between shapes and textures, as long as they have the same requirements. I went back a little bit here in the video because I'm going to tell you about that sago palm. Like I had two back then. I left them behind because I couldn't get them in the truck. But what I wanted to talk about are these beautiful tiger lilies that I had. They were from bulb. They took a while to come out, but the experience that I had with them, and then later on with it was a ficus lyrata. Those are the only two that I have experienced scale, and they are a pain because you cannot. Once those get attached to wherever they are, like if you don't remove them manually, there's nothing that can take them out. But these lilies are beautiful. Unfortunately, like they're all annuals. You're gonna count them really as perennials, at least not there. I haven't tried the lilies here. Here, I don't think they have enough heat to come out and bloom every year. I have a couple of lilies. I have a lily of the Nile here that is bottom up, and it should be blooming in this week or the next one. And I will like have pictures on my Instagram. But the other lily that I brought from there, it hasn't bloomed yet, I don't think. Now here you can see coleus mixed with the ones like right here. I'm trying to point with the camera, still working on this. So the ones like right under me, like is the coleus, and like right under that are the zinnias. They haven't bloomed yet, and there are cosmos in there that I throw seeds in there because I did not know how big they were going to get, that they were going to need support or anything. So live and learn. Now the upcoming plant that is over here is going to be this fern. This is a Kimberly fern. If you are either in Dallas or if you are in San Diego, just get a Kimberly fern and you won't have a problem. They grow. They are super troopers. I have this plant still, and it has like double the size. I divided, and so now I have two. They are like the same size that is right here, and they take like more cold than any other fern, and they take more heat and sunlight than any other fern that I have worked with. And I have worked with like a variety of them. You're gonna get to see that in the episode that will come later on, that is all about ferns. but this is definitely like a suggestion that if you like ferns, the Kimberly fern is a trooper. It's better than Boston fern, and the other ferns, matcha fern, will be the next one on the list. But here you can see some hanging plants like the anthus begonias and peace lily that I still have is still growing here. And this is the next one that I wanted to talk about, which is this sago palm. This sago palm that I have two, I had the one that we saw earlier was the smaller one. This was the bigger one, and I learned because I had a first one that it was killed by a frost. Here, my neighbor next door has a huge one in the front yard that he has like 4 or 5 heads of plumes, but I see that it's very yellow. I don't know if because it's that like we're so close to the ocean that the salt water or the salt air like makes them yellow, or if she doesn't water them enough. I don't know what it is, but you see how beautiful they are here. And one of the reasons was that like I was keeping the water because they don't need that much water, but they like water. And the other thing is like if you take these plants and it goes under 40 degrees, they will suffer. If you go under 32, they will die. And they don't go dormant, they will just die. And they're beautiful plants, like they're very hardy, they add a lot of texture to the yard and or to any arrangement. Now this right here, the oxalis, you saw the oxalis, the one in the front in that little arrangement, they were a lot more purple and a lot brighter. These were like basically just transplanted, but like this oxalis in Dallas, they will spread. They flower, the seeds will fly, and like they will start like spreading all around like a weed. Here, I have traveled, and let me show you. I have traveled to like make them happen. This little container is full of bulbs, and look at it. And it's showing like right now that it's under a lamp, but it's showing right now like that is closed, like if it was night. So I don't know what is the deal. We'll see if I figure it out. If it's on the top of a little heat mat, but I'm gonna try to put it outside and see if it does well outside. I haven't seen that outside done well. The ones that I have outside, they come out for a little bit and then they will, I don't know if they die or they go back into dormancy. Now, same thing with the green ones. The green oxalis were not that popular, but like they will still like pop up here and there. The iron cross oxalis, that was a complete failure. But I don't know, it was probably they either got scorched or they got like frosted outside. I don't remember what happened. All you notice about this little plant that you see right here in the bottom left corner, that's a citronella plant that they sell with the idea that they're gonna keep mosquitoes away. No. In order for to like the smell or the oil to be activated and you can actually smell the plant, which is supposedly what repel mosquitoes, you have to smack the branches in order for that to come out. So if you grab a branch and then like rub it all over your skin, there's a chance the mosquitoes won't bite you. But I see mosquitoes itself like coming out in swarms out of the plant. So the plant itself doesn't repel mosquitoes. So don't buy this plant because you want to repel mosquitoes from your backyard. It's not going to do that. This little plant right here, again on the left, it's a beautiful ponytail palm, and you know it's not a palm, it's actually a succulent. I have rotten a few of them. I still have 2. They are like in good condition. There's one that is like not so much. And this right next to it, this odora, this Alocasia odora, I had to I sold it before I came over because it was too big to like fit in the truck. You're gonna see it like later on in the video in the front of the house. But that plant also can take a lot of heat and it can take quite enough cold, so like it doesn't go dormant necessarily like more other alocasias do. Like if you see my Instagram, like in the last reel that I uploaded on my Instagram, and I'm talking about like right now is June 12th. is showing my allocations coming out of dormancy. And I was patient here because like I didn't know I wanted to like toss them over because they look like in bad shape, but I waited and they are all coming out of dormancy and they're doing great. I have to be conscious on them and like keep watering them because you know they're thirsty and hungry plants. They like to be fed quite regularly. Right under me here you see a ficus ruby red that I still have, and it's funny to see it because right here it's about like 2 feet tall, like, and right now it's about 4, and it's outside and I don't have to move it in or out. Another funny story about this container, this red container, is that this is 2022. In 2020, at the end of 2023, after the frost that happened, there was nothing on this container. I didn't even know what it was there, but it was tossed in like one of the containers that was like shipped over here. When I got it out of the container, there was this dangling like white leaves. Like I have pictures. If I find them, I'm gonna roll them in. These little white leaves that I was like, what is this? Like, and I put them in the sun and I let it grow, and I still have that hosta. So, and that's my theory when it comes to like the plants. Like I believe the plants, they're all like different, like we are, and personalities and troopers and survivors and the ones that just roll over and die. Another notice here that I'm doing here, this is the really bad planter that I made because there's a Madagascar Dracena that has nothing to do with a Difframbachia and nothing to do with an Aglonema. It looks good, but they all have very different needs when it comes to soil and when it comes to like watering especially, and temperature. Aglonemas are real troopers when it comes to the heat. They can take a lot of heat. They will thrive in the heat. As long as they're not in direct sunlight, that you can put them outside and they will thrive. They don't need that much water. Just like a regular plant. Difframbachia on the other side, they do not like that much heat, and they do need a lot more water than the Aglonemas. For most of the species and the varieties that are in between here and there. And then the Dracena that you see there, the Madagascar tree, is almost basically like, in comparison, is a succulent. So it has nothing to do in this planter with it. But at the time, with the information that was on the internet and like what I knew about the plants, that's what I knew. Moving on here, there's like a couple of more planters, again like more Aglonemas and Dracenas in the same planters. There's like the mature fern that I had in the bottom. You're gonna see it like a little bit later in the video how much bigger I got, and I move it to the front yard. Caladiums are still something that I'm learning about. It's like I haven't get to get caladiums to grow for more than one season. The bulbs end up rotting. And these other plants right here, which if you can see, like I have lots of them, which is the purple heart, this like really dark Tradescantia variation. It grows like weeds in Texas. Even that, like they will come and like they will be gone in the winter, but they will come back. They will come back in the summer. And they will spread, like they will get long, you can make cuttings and they will grow, like you don't even have to put them in water. You can just stand them like back in the dirt and they will grow without a problem and hesitation. They have a beautiful pink flower as well. I wanted to point at this right here, these planters, like not the ones at the bottom but the ones against the wall. You can see them in my 2025 tour that they have a bunch of succulents and cacti, and they're growing great, and they get like maybe like an hour or 2 hours of direct sunlight, but they're doing great. Here is the place to like grow succulents and cacti because they love the weather. Now we move around and see inside of the house, a little bit of the plants inside of the house. There's the Monstera, like this Monstera is like, it's outside in the backyard. Now you can see a Dracena there, or Sansevieria. as they were used to be known for. There's a Ficus lyrata here. There's a couple of them, and a couple of African daisies. None of these made it. The Ficus lyratas and I either sold, and the Sansevieras, they got all killed by the last frost in 2023. The African daisies, I have a new attempt to them right now over here, and I'm trying them in leca. Back then, in this regular potting soil mix that I was trying, that now work. They start flowering. These are not flowering, but at least they're not dying. And then over here we have a mix in the tail that I was working with a couple of ferns, like a crocodile fern, Burness fern, some peperomias that you can see there, and a couple of anthuriums, the flamingo flower type. Also, like making a couple of new planters, a couple of palms, like majestic and cat palms, and you see some crotons. And here another thing that I wanted to point out: if you see these begonias, they're on pebble trays that will have water, because the problem that we have in Dallas is that in the summer, if you have them inside, because outside it's too hot, the AC itself it will still like take some of that humidity out. So you have to continuously provide of humidity, even when it's humid. It only happens when it rains that it gets to like a 90%, but then comes the wind and takes it all away, so it doesn't last very long. There's a lot of different levels of humidity, like in a single day. And tropical plants do not care about that. Here, the good thing is like the humidity stays consistent, like over 60%. Sometimes it doesn't need to rain it to get to like 90%. So, but it stays right there between 30 and 90, and between like 30 and 80 to be more realistic, because it doesn't rain too much in here either. Like a little more inland, it rains more than it does here, being so close to the water. I'm a block away from the ocean. But here the humidity stays like quite consistent between 65 and 80 and 85 percentage throughout the house, and I only have a couple of windows open, and outside is about the same. So it's not a huge variation between the percentages of the humidity. And right now the temperature is like 72, so it's 74, 72, 74 in here, and it's about 69 outside. That's a good thing that's the reason that I moved to San Diego, because the variation, the fluctuation, not only in the temperature, but the humidity is much more consistent. In Dallas, it's like they say, if you don't like the weather, wait 5 minutes. It will change, and without a warning. So in the summer, the AC does that. In the winter, it's much worse because of the heat. It will suck the humidity out. It will get down to like the 20s to the 30s. And here I was having like not only like trays with pebbles and water, I have like 3 humidifiers going on to keep these plants alive. I'm not saying thriving, because I haven't done any cabinets or anything like that. I have a couple of terrariums, but I don't do any IKEA cabinets or anything like that. I try to keep it like as easy going as possible, because I'd rather have more plants than have just a few that are like too finicky. Now, a plant that I've done great here, and especially because of the water, are caletheas. Caletheas here, except for this one, like that is right under me, which is the black ruby, is the only one that I'm missing right now of my collection. But in the tour, you can see that I have them like around the staircase. I have basically every variety of caletheas that are available here. And here are troopers. I have them on self-watering pots, and I use like tap water. Even though I have like a little bit of like rainwater, they don't fuss with it. In Dallas, even filtered water was like not quite good enough, because I had a osmosis reverse system under the sink, and that was still not, they were not happy with that. They would prefer like the still water or rainwater. Rainwater was always the best. All the plants, as far as I know, they react different to rainwater, especially when it comes straight from the sky. because it's been like sitting on a reservoir or anything, they don't act quite the same. For some reason, when it rains, they just explode when it comes to growth. Now, caletheas, they get brown edges and they die here in Dallas, but here they're just thriving. Like I have to make sure that I just keep those reservoirs full. But that's a good thing. It's like I love caletheas, and they're great plants if you give it what it needs. So okay, so now we go here. This is let me guess. This is spring of 2023. Yes, the spring of 2023. You see that now in the base of the tree. I started to make a new flower bed. It was an attempt. I put some hostas there. I wanted to have the hostas to like actually grow. Have a couple of blue Elijah grass, and the one that you saw in the corner that is very dark, it was a black monkey grass, but it didn't make it either. Then I have a hawthorn, an Indian hawthorn there in the corner, also with a oleander, a pink oleander. And now on this, on the flower bed, you can see now how much more growth has happened in a year. You can see the dusty millers have like exploded. They got twice that size before I came here. And you can see now there's like what is the name? It's African violets. No, they're not African violets. They're African daisies. There you go. African daisies. I have African daisies there. Like they do well, but they don't do as well as here. Like they do much better here. Guevara daisies, and look at this Mexican petunia right here. And this is considered. This is the spring of 2023. Take a look at this plant that is like right under me right now. What is going to be in the next couple of minutes, the growth that it's going to have. And here you have over here on all the way to this side, right here. You have the matcha fern and the Kimberly fern there right next to each other. The matcha fern has gotten a little smaller right now because I put it with a couple of plants in a planter. It's not in its own planter like it was over here, and it took a little time to adjust, but now it's getting like new growth, so it's about to be exploding. And you can see also the odora, those palms that were like in the inside of the house, and they're outside, like this deodora that was in the backyard. I brought it to the front, but all again in pots. You know, name of the channel being contained growing for that reason. Over there was because of the weather. Over here is because I'm renting. And you can see now I have removed the hedge, and the flower bed reached all the way to the back. I have also like upgraded the platforms in front of the window sills to be like all matching with the windows. And I have changed the plants that were like inside here, because here you see I don't have any more succulents, and this one I still do succulents and cacti, but the ones in the other window are gonna be Sansevierias alone. And you can see the variety of plants, and like plants that I make arrangements with colliers and cordylites and racinas and so on. If you have a question about before I keep going, right here in the bottom left corner, if you see, that's a ginger. That's a variegated ginger. That's a really good trooper of a plant. Even there in back in Dallas and here, I haven't found it here for myself because I left that one behind. It was in that big lime ceramic pot that we were talking from the beginning of the video. But I've seen a neighbor on the other side of the street that had a huge variegated gingers in the front yard, and they have like full sun, and they thrive. So I'm looking for like the time that I can get it back, because I love that plant as well. Okay, what I was saying, but here we're gonna go around. You're gonna start seeing how I'm started making that path, and in the bottom of the bush here, I started putting like purple hearts just to make a contrast with the bush, with the green of the bush. And around the bend, we got the string, the porch string that I put it on this format to provide also like more shade to those plants that are on the back. We're talking about geraniums and zinnias, cosmos. There were a couple of kales that also suffered the same destiny. And then moving now to the side of the house, which is what you saw at the beginning with that security camera, that this was all grass. This was beginning of the spring, so like the grass was like a little rough, but towards the fence of the neighbor, what I put was like a row of sunflowers and cannas, more specifically. And on this side of the edge of the garage, I had a pampas grass with some coreopsis, and here you see like under this corner there's more purple, royal purples. And now you see that this grass, the black knight, is just start to like come out from the ground after I cut off all the dying leaves from the winter. I just chop those up and then the new ones will come out. Now back to the front. This is spring of and yes, or summer. In the middle of it, spring and summer of 2023, I'm sorry. And all these are grown from seeds. We have black-eyed Susans, zinnias on this side, and then on the other side we have some cosmos and some more zinnias, a couple of sunflowers. This bed is finally done with all the plants are like actually on the ground, and you see that you're gonna see that royal purple like everywhere because it grows like wheat. You have the oleander there, and with the hawthorn, the path is already finished over there. And in here you see like a more full finished type of flower bed in the front. The size of the dusty millers, and all the zinnias are growing out. And look at the size of that Mexican petunia right next to me right here. This one is the Mexican petunia that was that little a few months ago, and like now it's like 4 feet tall. It has to be supported and stepped. And back there, like in the corner on the other side, like in the left side, you have the Kimberly fern and the matcha fern. The palms are in the back, and you have the Odora. That like right now the Odora is kind of like facing the wall because I was trying to like balance it. It was kind of like pushing towards because all the leaves were like facing towards the light. So I have like turning around and it's like facing the wall, not so much because of the light, because it was windy, and if they're already down, the wind comes, it will knock the whole pot down and it will break all the stems. So it was like it was gonna be bad. This here also, like I do the arrangements not only on like single pots or like or on the ground. I like to make arrangements also on the hanging planters. Now I just got a new one of this because the Dracena, that bicolor Dracena, I have to leave it behind. I just got a new one. There is a baby one, so hopefully that gets as big as that one. I don't know what I'm gonna do with the plants here because I have plants that like are growing like really fast, and these plants are huge. Even these ones like right here, like in the bottom over here, right behind under me, like in the blue planter. I just got a new one, but I haven't got the dark one. I got the regular green one because all those also die in the last winter over there. And I still have this. You see, like the moss balls, like it's not something that I have filmed in this video. Like there's no video of that I have actually saved. There should have been a video, but I haven't found it. If I find it, I will show it. I will show it later on in a different episode. But here you can get an idea of what is the transformation or the journey has been. And talking about these hanging planters, here I have a mixture of purple royals with neon pothos. It was great for a while, but the wind was too much for them. And basically, like they didn't last very well. But it's something that will last long and well, like if you do it like indoors or in a place that is like guarded from the wind. So this is all I have for today. If you have any questions about like what happened with any of the plants, or if you have a question of like what plants is this, so that like point out the timestamp on the video and put it on the comments, and I will like get back to you and let you know what plant is that and what happened, what was the journey with it. Of course, like the upcoming episodes that will be coming after this, I want to talk about each specific gene or type of plants in its own episode, what I have now, what I had before, and how things have developed in the last three or 4 years. So thank you so much if you made it. I appreciate from the bottom of my heart if you made it through here to the end of the video. Please subscribe. It's free for you, and it makes a world of a difference to me. Like the video, share it with your friends, and like everyone that you know that likes plants and are interested in this type of journey. And thank you so much, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.